Suddenly and without warning, Krimsky was poked on the shoulder. "Wake up, Petro!" Anton continued, shaking the curator. Seeing him open his eyes, he explained, "All hell has broken loose. Yuri and Vlad are being arrested or detained, and I ran over here to tell you," he said, standing up to peer back around the corner. "I don't think I was followed." "What are you talking about?" Petro sat up, confused and trying to sort the matter out in his mind. "Who's being arrested?" "Yuri and Vlad are. We posted the videos on the web, and they've gone viral." "So, wasn't it the point? People get to see the monastery and the tremors that you filmed. It's like all the earthquake videos. We have tremors too," he stated, annoyed and not understanding the problem. "We have a great discovery," he yawned. "It's national security or some such group. I think they're SBU." Seeing the curator's eyes bulge, he knew he understood the situation better. "Some guy, Gregory Narishkin, is pushing his weight around and giving orders. Misha texted Yuri, who came over, and then that guy wanted to get Vlad and me. Misha ran and told us. I got out, but Vlad got nabbed. So I ran to get you. Yuri's holding them off by yelling and screaming at them. He woke everybody else up. Everyone is scared. They have 2 people. Wait a minute," he stated, pulling out his phone. Reading the text, he went on, "This isn't good. That Gregory guy and his guards have Yuri up against the wall with guns, and they ripped his shirt. He's yelling about his shirt." Anton laughed in a nervous manner. Thinking a moment, Petrov asked, quickly walking outside into the rain while putting on his raincoat, "Where are they now? What part of the monastery?" "I think I left them and they were in the place where we eat and sleep, that building. I can't think of the name right now. It's old. It's an old building. We have to do something." "Okay, here's what we're going to do. You text Sasha and tell him, do you have his number?" "No." "Then take my phone and text him. Tell him what's happening and to get over here right away. Tell him it's at St. Peter's Hall. That's the building where you eat and can sleep. That's what it's called, St. Peter's Hall. Tell him St. Peter's Hall," he stated, handing his cell phone to Anton. Walking closer to the building, he peered at the changes that happened in so short a time. Lights were on all over the place. Jeeps were stationed in front of buildings. This is a war zone or foreign occupation. They're treating us like we're the enemy. Looking in the side window, the 2 men saw Yuri still shouting at the guards as Vlad had his face pushed up against the wall and in handcuffs. "This isn't good," Anton whispered, scared. "Look at the blood on the wall. They're going to beat us all up. That guard is holding Vlad by his handcuffs. Look, he's twisting them and holding his face against the wall." "Did Sasha get your message?" Petrov quietly asked. "Did you text him?" "Yeah, he's on his way now. He said he's at the Art and War Museum. It should only take a bit to get here. He said hang tight and stay out of sight if we can. He knows Yuri will continue to divert attention to give us all time, and I should continue filming it if I can without getting caught." "That's a good point. No matter what happens, you get this video out." He pushed the window open a bit more. "You should be able to hear some of the conversations, or the recording will. Keep filming," he quietly whispered. "If need be, I'll divert them away from you. You keep filming and get the video out." He saw Anton nod. "That one guard has stopped hurting Vlad for the moment. He's not screaming in pain. Keep filming. It should only be a bit longer." Watching, they waited for what seemed to be hours as he stood in the continual rain. Suddenly and without warning, Petrov started to run into the building. "That does it," he loudly shouted. "Anton, you stay here and keep filming. Stay hidden if you can." He raced inside St. Peter's Hall. "Just what do you think you're doing with that duffel bag and tearing at the Chronicle?" Surprised, Narishkin turned around to see who was questioning his authority. "And who are you?" "Who am I?" he asked, annoyed. "I should ask you." He stomped his foot. "I am Petrov Krimsky, curator of this monastery. You have no right to handle that ancient manuscript, never mind pull at it." Suddenly he found himself surrounded by guards with rifles. Nervous but undaunted, he wasn't going to let the man get the better of him. "You're destroying monastery property." And, flipping his arm out, he added, "What are you doing holding my foreman and worker? Stop hurting him. They are here by order of President Ivanovich, and he won't be happy you roughed them up and now stealing monastery treasures." "So you're the one that caused all this security breach," Gregory Narishkin informed, moving close, seeing it was easy to intimidate the little guy. "You're a loser bookworm. You put our entire nation at risk." "I did no such thing, and neither did these workers. They've been working long and hard in the pouring rain, saving this place and its treasures, And what have you been doing besides tossing fine men up against the wall and ripping their clothes? Are you some kind of pervert ripping clothes? You should be ashamed of yourself. These are fine, hard-working men. You had no cause to harm them. It's real easy to beat up a man on your orders when he's handcuffed from behind. That was wrong. You gave those orders to twist his hands until he yelled in pain. You should thank these excellent workers. They're the ones standing out in the rain, not you. Yes, you should thank them instead of, trying to find the words, he added, instead of beating them up. Thank them? Your little gang here has broken national security with your web videos. So far there are over 500,000 hits and it's increasing. Hearing their astonished voices and gasp, he went on. Posting that crap without permission broke security. There are reporters and film crews outside the gates waiting to get in. Please, Petro announced as he stomped his foot and moved closer to the ruffian. Good. They just want to see one of the greatest discoveries of all times opened. Ukraine has it. You should be happy and welcoming the attention, not arresting common laborers. Annoyed, he stared at the man the best he could. Catching his eye was Yuri, who beamed from ear to ear with the curator's actions. Seeing the foreman nodding and giving him a thumb up, he went on as he peered at the security man again. I may be a loser bookworm, but you're a pervert and a bully. And that curse is from the Bible, so you better watch out. Moving in closer, Narishkin stated, Arrest him too. You're going to be held and interrogated since you're the leader. We'll see how you do squirming in pain. As the guards grabbed his arms, Petrov stated, Oh, no, you don't. Return the book back to me and these men. Hand them over to me, he instructed, trying to break free. I take responsibility for them. They are under my authority, not yours. I told them to post the videos. I take full responsibility. Nothing. They have done nothing wrong. Let them go. Turn them over to me. He tried to free himself from their grip, but it was no use. I don't take orders from you, you little squirt. You have no right to push them around or arrest them. They work for me. They have done nothing wrong. They've done plenty wrong, and you're the gang leader. They're guilty if I say they are. Let them go, a voice came from behind the group. Turning their focus, everyone in the room gazed at the man who quietly came in and stood behind them. President Ivanovich, I didn't hear you come in. That's obvious, he stated, moving in closer and sitting down at a table, while his personal bodyguard stood behind him and glared around the room. The second personal bodyguard moved over against the wall to watch another door in his charge. It's late. Actually, it's very early and I'm tired. In case you haven't noticed, my country is underwater. Parts of it are, he yawned. Security has been breached. No, Mount Yaroslav has collapsed. If you took the time to see the videos the men posted, you would have known that. Do you have trouble with your hearing? I said let them go. He ordered again, giving such a stare that many in the room had to look away. Perturbed, Narishkin instructed, let them go. Cheers rang out as Vlad had the handcuffs removed and was given a paper napkin to blot the blood from his lip and neck. Showing his friends, he pointed to the blood splattered all on the wall. He then checked his lip again to see if it had stopped. He rubbed his wrists and moved his fingers as he talked to them. Moving over, Yuri made sure Vlad was all right and then walked over closer to Narishkin. You tore my shirt. I want a new one. These are special order. Vlad's shirt has blood all over it. He gets a new one as well. Turning to face Vlad again, he saw another worker snap photos of Vlad standing next to the splattered wall while he held the bloody napkin. Good one, and make sure you get a close-up of his lip and neck. Get some shots of his wrists. He'll probably bruise from the rough treatment. They twisted his hands and wrists on Narishkin's orders. It wasn't necessary. Vlad was cuffed and against the wall, which shouldn't have been done anyway. Take a shot of Greg, too. He gave the orders for the abuse. The guards didn't do it on their own accord. They were just following bad orders. I'll need it for the report on the abuse and the damage Narishkin caused. Plus, Vlad, in a bit, change your clothes and keep them for evidence with the cloth. Misha, make sure they're put in a bag and lock them in Petro's office or Brother Taras's. He saw the man nod. New shirts will be sent. It will be done for the both of you since both shirts were ruined. Thank you, Yuri and your men. The president kindly smiled with a forced grin as the workers formed a group now around their heroes and ignored the president. You have helped Ukraine get through this awful mess. Thank you. Go get cleaned up now before we go open the entrance. Ukraine still needs you. Yes, Ukraine does need fine people in power so abuse doesn't keep happening. Yuri announced, going over to shake the president's hand. He gave him an odd look of mistrust as he scanned the president up and down. Once he shook his hand, Yuri happily went over to the curator and slapped him on the back as Krimsky held on to the duffel bag. "I didn't think you had it in you, Petro. It looked for a time there you might have to take a bullet for us." He laughed, as Petrov did too. "You are a good one to have around in a battle. Anytime you need help, just give me a buzz, and I'll see if I can get you out of that mess, too." "It's a deal." He shook his hand. "You tried to stop the abuse and injustice. I like you even more now." Watching them leave, Ivanovitch's smile faded as he glared at Narishkin. Leaning forward, he quietly stated through clenched teeth, "That was about the dumbest thing I have ever seen." He paused while he saw his second bodyguard gave one of Greg's men an order. He watched the men go over and check the windows and close several that were opened. Smirking, he liked the control. He focused on Greg again and continued, "What the hell were you thinking? Were you going to take them all out?" "No, just scare them. I had to bring order back. They posted the videos." "Go with the flow, Greg. That damage is done. Go with the flow, or the river will drown you just as it is everything else in its path." "Coffee," he ordered as the assistant went to get it. Seeing it was placed in front of him with a plate of various foods, he went on after taking a sip. "I have the reporters diverted as you should have done in the cloister. By now Krimsky is over there boring them with some stories until it's daylight. If daylight ever comes back here again," he peered out the window to see it was still raining, "they can film the same spots the workers did and check out what broke and fell down with the tremors, blah, blah, blah." "I didn't understand the plan. You should have informed me when you called and told me to get over here and take charge." He shrewdly defected to bring the damage to the office of the president. "The plan changes like the river. Go with the flow." "I was just following your orders to lock the place down." Furiously, he added, "And why was I stuck outside the gate, unable to get in with all the reporters and people that are gathering?" Seeing the surprised look on his face, Ivan went on, "Yes, Gregory, there are people standing out in the pouring rain to get a glimpse of that collapsed hill. It's more than reporters. We now have people out there. It's the latest tourist attraction for the world to gawk at and see. And you were going to arrest the people that brought it to us. It's now over 1 million hits and growing." "I had no idea it was changing so quickly." He tried to minimize the damage. "You should have told me. I had no idea of these developments." "That's correct. You had no idea. I'm only in here now salvaging your blunders because Sasha came over and got me in. He had to get me in. That bastard of a monk had to get me in." He hit his chest and looked angrily at Narishkin. "He wanted the men released and banged on my car door, scaring the crap out of Dmitri here." He pointed over to his bodyguard near him. "He cleverly got some foreign reporter's attention, dragged her over and told the camera crew who I was, and I had to get in to save the curator, foreman, and workers who were being held for filming the collapse. And that shit is now on the web too. Thank you." "Oh, God," Gregory stated, collapsing down in the chair and rubbing his head. "God help me," he added with his voice quivering. "It's getting out of control. God help me." "I don't think God will help save your ass with this one. He's probably busy gathering the animals 2 by 2. "What are we going to do?" "We?" Ivan looked up. "Suddenly we're a team?" Moaning, the man waited. "Well," sitting back and crossing his legs, he stared at Narishkin, "we are going to wait until it gets light out there, and then we are going up the hill, and I will have Yuri and his men open up that rock door. The world will see they're fine, and we'll find out what's buried in the bowels of Mount Yaroslav. It's a win for me if there is some treasure up there, and it's a win for me even if there's nothing but bones. It's a discovery, and I'm seen as the good guy. You, on the other hand, are in trouble. The world instantly hates you, so you can be the repentant, overzealous upstart or gone. Got it?" "Yes, sir." Pulling out his cell phone, Ivan read a text and announced, "Oh, great. Boris is coming down from Moscow as an observer for the Kremlin and FSB. He'll be here in an hour. The president of Russia feels it would be best for all of Eurasia's security and safety that they know what is going on. Guess they've seen the videos too. This just gets better and better. Well, the pain in my ass they will cause me is now your pain. Let's just see. Wait." Looking down, he added, reading a new text. "Now we're getting UN observers and NATO is sending people. We should sell tickets. They'll be here in less than 5 minutes. They too were stuck outside the gate waiting to get in. They saw Sasha's video and sent an official from the caravan to report to the gate, and now they're in. This is just wonderful news. Now I have more to control because of your ineptitude. Hatefully, he glared at Gregory, who just sat silent. Getting up, he announced, "There has to be a toilet around here." Seeing a soldier point, he stated, "Thank you." He went off as the primary bodyguard followed behind. The time slowly passed as all waited for the dark of night to end. All could only hope the rain would finally let up or cease. Glancing down at his expensive watch, Ivan announced, "I'll go out now and start this next phase." Standing and waiting, the assistant held the president's raincoat. Seeing his charge walk over, he helped place it on and made sure the collar was pulled properly. Getting the umbrella ready, he waited by the door. Grinning, Ivan announced, "Come, Gregory, you're going to hold my umbrella." "Do you think he can without hitting you?" the assistant asked. "Well, if not, that's one more task he fails at, and hitting the president is a huge blunder and offense. No one can touch me or arrest me, not even God." Sighing, Narishkin came over and took the umbrella from the man. The assistant gave Greg hate looks at being replaced for such a big worldwide event. "Better not mess it up or cover his face for the cameras," the assistant glared. Poking the disgraced security chief on the shoulder, the bodyguard sharply instructed, "Don't block my view or get in my way, or what, you going to take me out?" Narishkin stated, trying to get back his composure and authority. Smirking, Dmitri stated, "Oh no, not me." "But he will." He pointed to the other bodyguard. "That's his job. I protect the president, and Victor protects me." "Enough," Ivanovich stated as he saw Victor moved his jacket open to show the weapon at his side. "It's getting light, and it's time." Confidently, the president walked out into the crisp air as the rain seemed to be stopping. Calmly, he made his way over to the cars that had been placed in front of the building and wall. As he approached the people, emerged, talking about how the rain was letting up and pointing over to the new rock mount. Wanting to take charge, Ivan began in a cheerful manner. "Hello, thank you for coming on such short notice. This is exciting for Ukraine and for the entire world." He smiled at the numerous camera crews. "I see all is set. You and his men are up by the stone door," he pointed. Walking along, he paused a moment by a group of people. "Sasha, aren't you coming up too? I see Petrov is already there waiting." "Nah," he informed, moving his umbrella to see the president better. "I'll watch it down here with the monks. After all, this is their place. I want to see this view. This view should be the best. I'm here with the monks." "Fine," Ivan forced a smile, hating that Sasha had upstaged him again. "Can we stay with you, Sasha?" the reporter asked, wanting an inside angle and another chance to capitalize on the fortune of having Sasha highlighted. "We're still filming you, and having the perspective of people who work and live here would be interesting. We can capture your reaction to the doors opening with the monks down here. It's okay with me, Helen, if the monks don't mind." "Would be honored," the head monk spoke for the group and bowing his head at the woman reporter. Ivan's eyes widened when he saw the video crew stay by Sasha's side as he made the introductions all around. Enraged, the president moved on. Pausing at the base, he announced, "Everyone, please be careful. It does look to be a bit slick. Stay close to the inside and," moving in nearer, he softly explained, "that's probably why Sasha is staying down below." Seeing the majority of people nod in understanding, he moved on. "And oh, look," he held his arm up. "It stopped raining and the sun is out. We get the sun again," he laughed. Pleased, many clapped and began to talk and chatter as they pulled the umbrellas down. Once at the top, he looked around and uttered, "So this is the famous warning and curse we saw in the video. Do you think we're all doomed?" a reporter asked. "Well," Ivan shrugged his shoulders, "I think every great discovery has a curse written somewhere to ward off people. But since the rain and flooding exposed this rock core," he stressed, stomping his foot down on the stable rock, "I think it's time it's opened up." Pointing to Yuri and his men, he gave the signal, and they began to move the wedge they had placed in the opening. In unison, the crew worked to get the handle to budge. They tried several times with no success. Taking a breath, Yuri stood back and looked at it. The sunlight began to move over the inscription. Seizing the moment, the foreman added, "Great, more light for us." He positioned his strong hand in the opening and felt around. Bending down, he peered and decided to adjust the angle of the wedge. Standing up, he informed, "We got it to move a bit. It should go soon. And as Curator Petro told us while we were waiting for daylight, if this goes, it'll move on its own and fall into those side pieces. So," motioning the people, he instructed, "stay clear. And remember, if it housed bodies, it could smell a bit from being closed for centuries. Yuri watched and waited as the bodyguards with their sunglasses on repositioned the president to be safe and off to the side, but still the focal point. Once he got a nod from the lead bodyguard, he announced, "Here we go." Giving it their all, the crew worked on and the rock sections budged. It made a strange moaning noise, causing some to step back a bit and others walked further down the ledge. As the crew began to give it another tug, the deep sound grew louder and the doors began to open and scrape the rock ledge. It began to move on its own. Jumping back, the workers got out of its advancing path. "Here it goes!" Yuri yelled. The entire mountain rumbled and moaned with the scraping of the massive heavy doors.